And medical professionals in East Texas are reporting critical physician shortages in rural communities. Some clinics are stretched thin with limited resources, taking a toll in people's access to health care. Our Nomi Sanchez spoke with doctors who say the solution may be right here in our communities.
For Dr. Poulos, getting to work in primary care is a reward.
All somebody has to do is smile at me and say, that was great.
But over the years, she's seen a steady incline of physician shortages. From longer wait times to limited staff resources, the effects are showing.
Especially in rural communities where there's delay in health care, which leads to increased chronic illness burden as well as a decrease in survival.
According to the Texas Medical Association, the state has about 204 physicians per 100,000 people. But here in East Texas, the ratio per doctor is way above.
We have counties in East Texas, one of which has 0 physicians in the entire county. Marion County, a lot of other counties that have only one or a handful of physicians, each with numbers of population up to 5,000 or more per doctors.
Local doctors say the main problem stems from difficulties attracting physicians to work in smaller cities.
So if you have somebody young coming out of school, high debt burden family, they're going to want to go where there's schools, where there's, more things to do, where compensation is a little bit better.
However, recruiting from the communities that need help the most is an initiative doctors hope changes the future.
We're starting programs right now to get, even down K through 12, to get kids in East Texas the idea that they can be physicians. Because our whole philosophy here is to recruit students from East Texas.
I think it's introducing students earlier on to rural medicine, because they found that if you introduce medical students to rural medicine, put them in preceptorships, they tend to do very well.
Solving this problem won't be a quick fix. Physicians study and work anywhere from 10 to 14 years before officially practicing. But laying the foundation now can build for a better tomorrow. Nomi Sanchez, KLTV 7 News.
And the UT Tyler School of Medicine is hoping to continue combating this issue in other ways by expanding residency programs in upcoming years and by providing accessible funding for its existing students.